Hello gang, time once again to do a CSS Battle. Alright, these are 3 from September of 2023. This is the 26th, that's the 27th, and that's the 28th. Kind of unique graphical shapes, patterns, interesting. Let's get to it. Alright, what do we got here? I feel like for simplicity's sake, this is like a bordered, transparent block over 2 linear gradients, huh? Pretty straightforwardly so. So let's go ahead and blank him out, and let's do the block part first. So border solid, and then 50 pixels or something. Maybe it's 40. And let's see if we can put that into place. We'll start with that light background to begin with. So let's set. Okay. So we're narrowing the margins of the body to accommodate these that square. 6, 7. Okay, so it needs to be a little, this border is too small. So it is 50 pixels. I was wrong. So make 50. So yeah, there you go. So that's the first part. The question is there, what's the most efficient way to do this background? And it might, so we can do 2 linear gradients, one coming down and then one going to side, and then the other would be my favorite kind of gradient, which is the conic gradient. And I'm gonna, so it's gonna, which is gonna be smaller. It's gonna be up the start at the upper corner, so that's the background position, and then the width is some number. And I'll start with 100 pixels, 100 pixels, even though I know that's not right. And it's 75%, and I do need a no repeat because it's just to keep a hold of it in your head. So I'll do these silly colors and show you. Okay, so there's the block, and then let's make it wider. 200, 210, 220. 225, and then taller, 200, too tall, 175. Okay, and then we've got, obviously we need the at. We need to put the center of that at the bottom right-hand corner. So border, so the conic gradient is at 200 pixels. 100 pixels. I'm just making up those numbers. Too far over. 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 175, 175, and then 175, 10, 20, 125. Okay, so then what now? Let's swap those colors out. So the 75% number should be the light color, and if we've got that right, then we get black with the diff. And then when we let it repeat, we should have it. Not too bad. What optimizations can we make there? Can we turn this into a different number? Let's try the old Q unit. Kind of works. Needs to be a little bigger. 180. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then let's have the Q units for this one too. 30, 6, 7, 8. So that's 238 Q. And let's do it for these too while we're at it. Hey, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 81, 92, 83, 84, 85. And then here too. 30, 6, 7, 8. Oh, no. 26, 27, 28, 126, 27, 28, 29, 30. What am I doing wrong? 31, 32, 33. Might not tolerate doing that. How about a percentage? 50, 60, 70, 21, 22. Not quite liking that, is it? All right, so that's fun. All right, so if this is 50Q, we're just replacing all these units. 1, 2, 3. All right, 53Q. Slightly better. All right, so let's minify. And have we submitted? I'm not sure we submitted. That's a lot of confidence we've had here. Like, hey, I think we're able to match this. So, and we haven't. We have not matched it. Look at that. So we got to undo some stuff here. So undo. Nice job for the CSS Battle team to allow for undo. Going back to, usually I'm more careful to submit these alternate versions, but am I wrong on, yeah, 99.8% doesn't like those Q values, huh? Something like that. Let's go back to pixels to make sure that we have our design correct, which we may not. We may have missed something. Is there some shift? No, that's 100% match. So maybe we just go with the defaults and pixels and be done with it. Maybe. All right. Yeah, well, that's fine. And then resubmit with submitification on. And that's fine. That's a fine score. All right. Enjoyable. Next. What do we got here? What recurring patterns exist for us here? We've got this linear gradient. So okay. So we got a bunch of different pieces here. The circle seems like the simplest, but there are different ways to do that as well. We would need to set our margins in some way, no matter what we do. We have these borders, so we could do this with an element, but then we need another one, and then it's rolling off and rolling off screen. So what's the simplest way to do this? Could this be 3 elements? Maybe. I'm going to treat it like 3 elements. I don't know if this is a good way to go. But today I'm seeing 3 elements. Each one is some width. So let's see what that looks like. So we've got, I'm going to call the first one P, the second one is P, and we'll put C as the attribute to give it that circle appearance. And so let's create that first. Actually, the first thing we ought to do is set this background to be something reasonable. Let's unset the color and then set width, because we're going to do a display flex because we want them all to appear together. All right, so the width is going to be a bar because I think the middle one is going to be slightly different. So we're going to say a var of a W, or we'll lowball it. We'll go 80 rather, 80. Okay. And then each one's going to have a different background. So we're going to say background of conic gradient of a var of --g or a conic gradient. Conic gradient, which will be that same thing that we did on the background of the prior one, 75% around, and then something like that. All right, then let's finally put display flex on the body, which we absolutely need, and we need a margin of 0 on those elements. All right, so what do we need next? At height, it's got to be the full 300, and then the width has to be wider. We know that C has a different background, so to start we'll do G is a background, we're just going to say solid of that color. So now that's our middle guy. So okay, so and then his width is going to be different too. So --W, call it 130 or something. Okay, pieces and parts. So it might be a little tricky to see what are we seeing here. So I'm going to cut that out. So that's one element, and then those are the other two elements. And I guess we got to flip this guy horizontally. So we'll just call it X, and we'll say X has a transform of a scale X of -1. And now you can see that. Okay. Next. So we want this orange to line up perfectly, and to see that we'll see perfect black on this column. So let's get that width right. 100, 120, 130. Okay. And then I think this C needs to be a little wider. And there it is. Okay. So we've got two more pieces that we need, which is we need to set this background to have some height. And it has to be 100% wide, and then have a set height. And I think we will need an @ But in the meantime, if we can get, so let's see, let's add a no repeat. Again, just for our own sanities. So this has got to be taller. Too tall. 1.6, 1.7. Okay. And 100% is fine. Okay, here's our @ and I'll just, again, start with some neutral position, go downward. 1, 10, 20, 30, and then 70, 80, 90. And then once I take off the no repeat, we'll have that gradient. So the conic gradient is we're studying your @ position is the center of that conic gradient, and then each of the color stops is around the wheel. So that's 75% around, or 270 degrees. It could also be 270 degrees, but of course 75% is fewer characters. All right, next. The last piece of this is, well, it's this, isn't it? It's radial gradient, which starts at orange and goes out to transparent, like that. And of course it's a circle. I guess in theory, if we change the height of that guy, we would not have to, set the keyword circle, but we do. It's fine. How about 10%? Probably too big, but we'll find out. Nope, too small. So 10%. Could it be 20? How about 16, 17, 18, 18%? All right, let's submit. Let's not lose sight of the fact that we do need to get this checked. And that's it. That's 100%. So we'll unit replace, which I don't think there's any, and then collapse, and then we submit, and we've got it, I think. A few more nips and tucks at some of the code. This is not my best score on this one, or I'd have gotten a notice like, hey, look, here's your, yeah. So that's fine. What is the top solution here? It's not very much better. Are there other optimizations we can make here? We've certainly been playing around with Q units. What if we did percentages? Can we get happy percentages that do what we want there? 71, 68, 69. Is that better? 69.1%. To change the at value to lose a character? Not really. Not a lot better. What can we do? Others. Let's try a Q unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's look at the diff. How about 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then how about 50%? 6, 7, 8, 7. So 71, 2, 3, 4. Is that better? Not really. Does it match at 100%? Yeah. What else? What else could we do? So I guess in theory, we wouldn't have to do a full radial gradient. We could do just a circle and then add flex to the body. Like there's a lot of different choices here. So there are optimizations that you could make. Clearly, one of many, many ways to do the same pattern. I did it with 3 elements. You do it with 0 elements. Many choices. All right, and then lastly, this is a pretty intricate one. It has me thinking about something that we haven't really done, or at least I haven't done in these recordings, which is elements that contain other elements. And usually when I do that, I do some nesting there. Part of the reason for using the paragraph tag is because it's self-closing. There's an implicit closure. So if you have a paragraph or a line of text, and then you do another one, even though the editor there is adding a closing tag, they are implicitly ending. Where with a div, with the same thing, right? This commonplace, they are all part of the same deal. So that's the reason that we use a single character paragraph tag, because it's very useful for this particular kind of challenge, but also very useful in HTML because HTML is fairly straightforward to write, even though it is intimidating, but it certainly is a thing that makes sense to a lot of us. It's worth learning about. All right, okay, so what's our approach here? We'll restart our blank template, put color on the body, and how do we get that shape? That particular shape is sort of the interesting one. I think that I have myself thinking about the fact that maybe I just want to clip out that hard part. Like that's the part that's interesting to me. And then that has me thinking about how to do a clip path for everything. All right, so this might be a silly approach, but I'm going to try it. That's how it goes. That's what we do here. 40, 50, and then that height is 4, 5, 6, 200. All right, so so right now it's just this solid color, right? Yes, correct. So let's do that clip path that I was describing. Clip path, polygon, and it starts at 0, 0. It goes to 40% 0. And then it goes to 40%, and then like 40 pixels. So that's now our clip path. So now we created a triangle, but if we make all the rest of the points, then it won't return to 0, 0. It will return to 0, 0, but we have to make all of the parts of the path. So in this case, it's 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 more points. So 8 points. 60%, 40 pixels. Oh, actually, we want, yeah, so there's 40%, 40, 60%, 40 pixels down, and then 60%, 0, and then 100%, 0, and then 100%, 100%, and then 0, 100%, and that's there's the first part of the clip path. And is 40 too small or too big? Too small. So 43. Maybe it's 43% over. That's not great. So that little line means 43% is not exactly right. 44 is a little worse. 42 is also a little worse. So let's turn it into a value. 120 pixels. So all of these numbers need to be based on that. So there's 120, and then either was it 160 or the 150 or 130, 120. Oh, whoops, 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 whoops. Wrong, 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 wrong. So we need to change, not that. 120, 0, 160. There it is. That's the next number that I need to change. Okay. Now that we've got that clip path, we can do what we need to do design-wise. So let's, rather than do that, so now we'll make everything disappear. Let's do a border. Solid, I guess it's 40 pixels, solid yellow. Okay. So at the top, it's cool. At the bottom, no, because we've changed our height. We've added border to it, unless we did box sizing, border box. This is the reason that box sizing border box is so awesome, because it says, hey, in that height, include the border. But we don't want that, because that's too many characters. When we can change that number, decrease it by 80, and get the same thing. All right. So now we've got this gradient in here, or whatever it is that's going to make those black squares or the yellow squares in there, so that when we do the diff, we don't get to see these little eyes poking out at us. All right. So that's a background that we need. And to me, this is another conic gradient. And I'm going to put a no repeat on it. And I'm going to do ridiculous, outlandish colors because that helps me see it. And we'll do pink, 75%, and white, 0. So that's that. And then let's put it at 0 here to begin with. I think that what we're going to do is we need to move it down. So actually, let's start at 20 pixels, 20 pixels, and then make a width for it, 40 pixels, 40 pixels. And we can kind of eyeball it, I suspect. Normally, we know that it's increments of 40, we think, because we've got the border of 40 pixels and then our clip path at 40. So if we do 40 over and then 40 down, and then it's too small. And if this is, maybe it's 25% wide and 25% wide. How about 33% wide? Nah, let's just do the 80-80. And then when we remove pink and make that transparent, hash, and then 4 zeros, and then put in the yellow, then I think that we've got it. Assuming we add the repeat back. Okay. Let's submit and see if we've got all the parts. And we do. So that's a single element with a clip path, clipped out the hard part, which is the tricky bit. You could also do an after and pop that up. You could do multiple linear gradients, but this way we just do a single gradient of this repeating pattern, and then we don't have to worry about, well, what's that do? So because if you remove the border, that's your design, right? And that doesn't help us very much. So let's minify. And then nip and tuck at the last little bits of code and resubmit. That's kind of a fun one. All of them pretty fun today, and that's a better score than I've gotten in the past. So again, the 26th, 27th, and 28th of September 2023. Those are CSS battles. Check it out, CSSBattle.dev. A lot of fun. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.